Hello everyone, welcome back to A's World of Figures. Today I'm going to be reviewing the legendary Super Saiyan Broly. But this just isn't any other Broly. This is actually the very first Broly that SS Figuarts came out with all the way back in 2014. But the special difference in this one is, as you guys see here by the little logo, this is the 40th Anniversary Reissue Edition. So, very excited to talk about this figure. This is definitely one of my holy grails, even though it's not technically the original from 2014, but it's still the figure. So, very happy to have this in my collection now, because I was definitely not trying to pay those outrageous prices for this guy, especially for the amount of accessories that he comes with. Although this particular one has just a little bit more, and I'll get into details what that is later in the video. But enough of the little intro. Let's get on with this. All right, guys. So first thing I want to go over with you guys is the box design. If you guys notice here, any new collectors to the SS Figuarts line, especially Dragon Ball, this is the original box design that SS Figuarts first had back in the day. Had these little dots and things in there. Personally, it's not my favorite box design. Still good, but I prefer the new white boxes with the cutout open and things like that. But they did do a little touch here for this little throwback design. Of course, they added the 40th anniversary logo here to let you know this is not the original, complete original 2014 figure, but it's a reissue for the 40th anniversary. You have the Dragon Ball Z logo here. Of course, Tamashii Nations logo, the Bandai, Premium Bandai logo here as well, and the Tamashii Nations seal quality here, and the Toei Animation seal for the United States. Also, another thing I want to point out, again, as you guys see in the P Bandai logo there, this guy was a P Bandai exclusive. I got lucky and was able to pre-order this guy for the first batch. This came out actually this November. There was a second run if you managed to catch it. The second run doesn't come out, unfortunately, until January. So those of you who are still waiting on this Broly, who managed to do that pre-order after the first wave, your orders will be coming in next year. But I'm going to turn this box here now, show you guys the rest. And this box is huge. As you see, it's kind of overshadowing my camera, so I'm just going to turn it sideways here. But you see it's got the nice silhouette of Broly here. I'm gonna say this now, I've seen it's really glossy. I never owned the original box. This is how expensive he is, and I got into the Figuarts line way too late. Although I always wanted these figures, I just couldn't afford it growing up. But they added this really nice gloss finish to, I say gloss, but it's like a shiny finish to the box. It's real nice. But it's got SS Figuarts at the top here. Of course, the name of the figure here. Let me get this in the camera a little better for you guys. There you go. Broly, 40th Anniversary Reissue Edition. Is there, like, in case you didn't know which version this is, we're going to put it in big white letters for you. In the back. In the back, they have the original pictures from, this is pretty much the original box art from that time period. You even have the old school 1.0 Super Saiyan Goku. You have pretty much everything that was in that box back in the day. I think back then they had a little more stickers for like Bluefin and Funimation and things like that. Although Funimation is no longer a single entity. They got bought out by Crunchyroll. But you see here in the picture here, because this is the 40th anniversary, they added a picture of the figure with that base that's in here. and I'll show you guys that too. But look how they designed the boxes back then. Is that pretty cool? Good little throwback. Here's the side. You have somewhat of a continuation of Broly's figure face here, going to the sides here. More sheen, you guys see it in the lighting. Really nice, really beautiful. At the top, at the very top, you have, of course, you have the cutout window showing you the figure itself. You can't really see the accessories with these figures back in the day. You can kind of see, you know, the faceplates and things like that. But at the top, you have, again, SS Figuarts, the legendary Super Saiyan Broly, but 40th Anniversary Reissue Edition. Very nice, guys. Let me show you the bottom so you guys can see. And this is where they have all like the bluefin, pretty much the legal stickers and stuff like that on the back. Again, you have the SS Figuarts Broly 40th Anniversary Reissue Edition in gold this time. Really nice, guys. Really nice. Yeah, this is the real deal. Real deal. But so enough of that. Let's get on with getting this guy out the box. I can show you guys the accessories in here. Okay, guys, I am back. You see I have Broly outside of the box and in the clamshell. As you guys see, they still were using this type of clear package clamshells for the figures even back then. So I'm glad they kept that just like it is. This kind of shows you like what they were thinking back today and like where they are now. But anyhow, in the center, you have the main figure itself, the showcase, Broly. And I know there's like 2 other variants of this exact same figure. I personally would love to have the San Diego Comic-Con 2016 iteration of this figure, because that was, if I'm correct, more of a anime accurate coloring for that figure. But this one here, it still does it for me. It gives it a little bit more life because he's got that nice natural skin tone to him. Although his hair isn't green as it was in the anime. And the anime itself, the movie itself, I mean, say that. The movie itself, the drawings were kind of all over the place, especially with the coloring, things like that, with the lighting. But hey, I have a freaking SS Figuarts Broly. I'm happy. The legendary Super Saiyan Broly. I am happy. I'm happy the way to go. Especially with the price I paid for this thing, just $90. I'm happy. Anyhow, you have 2 additional faces, 3 in total. You have the key effects here. Well, blast effects. He has 3 of them. And you have 4 additional hands here, 6 in total. 2 fists that comes on the Broly. And then you have these 4 hands here on the side. Unfortunately, not much when it came to accessories with this figure back in the day, even to this day. And I think that's mainly because of how just huge this figure is. Like, I don't know what else they could have added with this figure, honestly. Maybe more faces. I don't know. Or maybe like a pointing figure. They could have added that in it, because sometimes he does get menacing, just like Cooler does, and points at you like, I'm coming for you. They could have maybe added that in there, but... okay. And then, honestly, little extra in here. I get that this is an awesome figure, but from what this is right here, now that I have this guy, I've seen video reviews of this guy and things like that, but it's like, now that I personally have this guy in my collection, paying $400 or $500 for this figure, I can't do it. I can't. Not for this. Like, I'm glad that bootleggers and things like that and third-party companies are making their own Brolys for much cheaper. But $500 for this, just like because you want it in your collection, that's just not for me. Just not for me. For what this is, not enough for me for that price. $200, yes, at the most. I get it, because that's normally what, you know, like SS Figuarts figures go for after so long. But even the Captain Ginyu or like the Ginyu Force figures, absurdly priced. I get they're popular, but I'm good. If they reissue those guys, yeah, I'll add them to my collection. But other than that, I'm not paying those outrageous prices. Moving on, a little rant there. On the back, we have the really nice 40th anniversary Dragon Ball base. This is similar to the base that I reviewed that came with the cooler final form, except this one is a nice little yellow. Also comes with a stand and support attachments to actually use with the key balls here. Very nice. Very nice. As you guys see here, this might be one of my quicker videos, I guess you can say, because there isn't really much here. But now I'm going to take this guy out of the package and actually show you guys, you know, like the little details and things like that with this guy. So let's go and get him out of the clamshell of the package here, and let's show this guy off. Okay, guys, now that I got him out of the package, just wanted to show you guys like pretty much the details of this figure, like how good is he, like the design choices with this thing, like is it pretty good, just like if it was being like if he came out of the anime. So let's start with the shading. This is one thing you barely see with modern SS Figuarts figures, and I'm not sure what's changed in the 10 plus years, because this figure line has been around since 2009, and they used to do a lot of shading back then, little extra stuff. And you guys see here, there's a lot of shading going on in the muscle details to kind of make it pop a little more. There's a lot of it, and they used to be so good at that, and I don't know why they stopped. There isn't much on the pants. It's very subtle, very subtle. There's like a slight bluish, I'm trying to describe it. It's very subtle. It's like a bluish, grayish hue to it. I don't know if you guys are picking that up in the camera here. You guys can see. But it's not like this is bare plastic. Of course, there's nothing on the back. They still didn't do that. But there's a pretty good amount of light shading on the pants here. The muscle, like this guy was drawn pretty weird back in the day. Like, of course, like he doesn't really fit like a normal human like anatomy, but the proportions, of course, are going to be a little weird. But I'm glad they still sculpted that into the figure, because that's what Broly is, like just freaking abomination of a being that's just decimating everything. But the way the hands move, I really like that. Like I guess for this particular figure, they didn't use those typical swivel joints. It's just a ball peg that's sitting out here. But the way this simple design is, it works so well. Sorry, I'm getting too close to the camera here. It works so well because you get so much range with it. As you guys see here, like it's very tight. But look at the range. Like the way they designed it for, especially like this is pretty much a 1.0, but this was leagues above figures back in the day, in my opinion. At least for the Dragon Ball line. At least for the Dragon Ball line. But on his wrist cuffs has a really nice gold paint to it. You guys can see in the camera. There's some flakes in there. Very, very tiny flakes to give it that nice little shimmer. Even his jewel, really nicely painted inside. Like it's so nice. Same thing on the other arm. Really nicely painted. There's no bubbling. There's no drip marks. Like it's all nice and clean. Even like his necklace up here. Real clean paint. There's no defects or anything like that. One thing I forgot to mention earlier, this figure was actually manufactured in the Chinese factory. So that's a plus. Thankfully, I haven't had any defects or QC issues with my copy, at least. The skirt is plastic, unfortunately. That was their choice back then. Since this is a reissue, they pretty much just kept the exact same mold, design, and all that. They didn't try to re-engineer this guy. If hopefully they do like an update on this guy, because this is good. And I get like, you know, it's probably hard to, I guess, add on to this or like kind of make this better, but it's possible. For one, they can definitely make the skirt that soft rubber plastic, well, whatever that material is, that soft rubber that they use now with modern figures that they make now. This can definitely benefit from that, because although like the leg range, and I'll get into articulation a little bit, you know, and I'll get into articulation soon. But what I'm saying is this hard plastic that they were doing back in the day, like it does obstruct, you know, some range, but you are able to move this around just a little bit and then get some better range with it, which is nice. But even on the feet, really nicely painted. You have the gold flakes here with the real nice clean gold paint here. The jewel, the feet. Yeah, of course you have the serial number there, let you know it's official. But yeah, everything is really nice and clean. Looks like Broly fresh out of the I wouldn't say the movie, because this isn't that particular version, but this is Broly if you were to take him out of the anime or the show. I wouldn't say the video games or anything like that, because this is, I guess you can say video games. But anyhow, even on the hair sculpt, really nice and clean. I like the bit of shading they did at the top here with the green highlights here going out. It's real nice. There's none on the back, unfortunately. It's just that Super Saiyan yellow. And I really like the shade of yellow that they were doing back then. I like that. They've kind of gotten away from that, unfortunately. They're sort of bringing it back, but the shade of yellow is a little different. And don't get me wrong, it's better for what they're doing now, because it's more of that light yellow color that Super Saiyan was, especially in the Cell arc. But this is nice. This is real nice. Even the face designs, the faceplate, this particular faceplate, I'll get you in the camera so you guys see, real nice and clean. I don't know how the original faceplates were, since this is a reissue. You know, their technology and stuff like that has gotten better. They can clean this up. The lines are real sharp. There's no bleeding. Everything is really nice. Even the little earrings here are nicely painted. You guys can see right there, nicely painted. The ears, all that, you can see the details in it. It's just real nice. But yeah, just want to touch on the detail of this guy real quick. And now, let me stand him up because he's freaking heavy. Got to get this guy nice and balanced or he'll topple over. There we go. Good minutes. But all right, let's move on to the articulation now. All right, guys, for this piece, it's articulation. So, first thing first, let's see if this guy can do a decent T-pose. And yes, he can. It's crazy enough how old this technology is, and this guy has seemed to be better shoulder joint movement than modern figures. Well, some of them. The arms even come up that far. How freaking huge his shoulder muscles are in this sculpt. Freaking huge. Come all the way down this far. And actually do a full 360 rotation with his arms. Smooth too. Like nothing's real tight on this guy. Like real buttery smooth. I like this. He actually has some butterfly joints in here, so you can get that real good shoulder range, like coming in. Now his arms doesn't come all the way in, like he can hug Goku and squish him, but it's good enough for the time. Because you guys see, like, in newer figures, they did, like, a cut here where, like, the pet kind of comes in more and it helps bring it in. I guess they didn't quite figure that out back then just yet. But, again, for what this is, especially for the price that they reissued him at, although it was much cheaper back then. But for the price he's at now, this is pretty good. You know, I guess inflation and things like that, cost of materials are getting more expensive. But he does have some decent elbow swivel here. Comes in that far. Seems to be like a not quite a good 45, but it's good for these massive arms. You guys can see here. Not bad at all. Let's see here. Now his waist, he can only, I say waist, but his chest, he can't look up that far. He can only go that far. Let me show you guys here. Yep, he can only look up that far. Looking down, somewhat decent app crunch looking down, somewhat. It's not the best. And what I do like about this old sculpt is, and the problem with some of the figures nowadays, when it's like they tend to compromise the app crunch and things like that by like this over excessive back gap in here. You don't have that with this Broly at all. Like, of course, you got the line cut and things like that, but even when looking down from the back, it looks good still. Looks good. I mean, they must have had some different designers back then for what they had, because some of these figures sometimes I'm like, what was this? What was the thought and process with this? But anyhow, does he twist at the waist? Somewhat. It's almost non-existent, but he does have somewhat of some waist swivel here. Not much at all. You can't do a whole 360s turnaround with him. His skirt piece is obstructing that, so I would not try it. Now, his head does have some decent range. You can do a full 360 turnaround with it. And what's different about this guy, what they chose back then, he actually has a double ball peg joint back here. And it'd be a bit weird, but they said like you're trying to do like a certain angle and things like that, certain pose. You can actually lift the peg up and turn it. Gives you more range looking down, side to side and things like that. I do like that they did that. It gives it a little bit more. It look ugly when you look at it from the side. It's like he's glitching out or something like that. But it's just for better posability when you're doing photography or whatever maybe that you're trying to do with this figure. All right, the legs only come out this far. And it's got that old 1.0 design here that you guys see. Let me point that out right here. This is the old 1.0 technology here, where they had just like, it was like a ball peg that would go up and down. Well, it's a ball peg joint that would kind of just go up and down. Kind of like so, you guys can see. And of course the leg can swivel, so you get some decent range. So it's got 2 points of swivel. So you got this little cutout here and the top leg joint, and then you have another bit of swivel that comes at the upper thigh here. Same thing on the other leg. And like I was talking about earlier in this video, his legs are obstructed pretty good because of the skirt piece. Now, they did think of that, which is cool. They did implement these ball joint swivels here, or these little hinge joints, I guess you can say, where you want to call them, where you can somewhat move these out. As you guys can see here, I'm butterflying them out and then move them up this way, so you can have some little bit more leg range. And it's still limited regardless of movement, because you can only move these so far. The front skirt piece goes up to the back skirt it's static. It does not move. There is no joint. But this is the old school joint system back in the day. You guys see that? Of course, it's covered up by the skirt, so you can't see all this. That's why it worked out so well. Put it back down. And here's the knee. Let me see if I can get this guy. Sorry, I'm moving all over the place. Let me see if I can get this guy's other knee swivel coming in. There you go. Yep, it does come in that far. Once you get the skirt kind of maneuvered in a way to even do it. So you can barrel let Goku. Look at there. This guy has some really decent articulation for its time. Like even the feet. We're going to move down there too. There's some real nice freaking ankle swivel there. Look at there. Even goes side to side. Just a tad though. Mine still need to be broken in, but Yeah, it's pretty good. Even got toe swivel. Isn't that really nice? It's freaking awesome. Yep, comes in that far. Let me pull his leg down so you guys can see. There's the foot. Comes up that far. And then down that far. That's about as far as you're going with the way they designed this. Gets caught up with the plastic piece of his cloth. Or I say cloth, but his clothes design here. Same thing with this foot. Same thing. Comes in that far back. Only goes in that far. So that toe. Does have a bit of swivel left and right. And you can turn the foot in and out. So that's pretty good. So that's pretty much it with articulation with this guy. He's really huge, but his design is pretty simple, and I like that. They went straight to the point of what they were trying to do with this guy and executed it really well, I should say. Not really too many complaints with that, in my opinion. All right, that'll do it for articulation. So what I do want to show real quick before I move on to my final thoughts is I do want to show you guys like a little bit of the hair design here. As you guys can see, pretty simplistic. It's just 3 pegs on the top hairpiece and his faceplate. So you can easily swap out a good face here. So we're going to give him this nice smirking face. Look at there. You can easily put back on his top hairpiece. Get that back in place. And that's it. Real smooth. This is definitely one of the simpler design figures they had back in the day. Let me put the skirt back in place. Out of the way. There we go. But yeah, this is definitely one of their simpler designs, but it works for what they did, especially with this size. Like, old design, but look how well balanced he is. Of course, if you get him in the wrong way, he'll topple over. But yeah, I'm quite impressed. Quite impressed. Still not paying $500 for the other variants. If they do a reissue of those, cool. I will definitely go for it. But other than that, that is a no for me. But all right, guys, let's move on to my final thoughts and conclude this video. Alrighty, guys, let's wrap up this video. So now all I did, sorry, let me explain this right quick. So you can't just put his hand, well, his key effect in his hand like that. All I did was take some 3M tape, just put it in his hand, but just want to touch on that real quick. But anyhow, my overall thoughts on this figure, this is a solid, I would say, another 10 out of 10. Well, let me reverse that. Honestly, I would give this a good 9 out of 10. It would be a perfect 10 if the skirt design was a little bit better. I get what they were doing with the time, but if you have like a soft goods skirt where it's looks a lot better, you don't have all these cuts and things into it, it'd be a solid 10. But I feel like a 9 is good for what this is. This is a 10-plus-year-old figure design, but it still gets the job done. Now, as far as modern price, absurd. You know, people paying an arm and a leg for this guy. It does suck when you're collecting because people have, of course, they're going to spend the money on what they want, but people who are willing to spend that amount of money that is what's driving up the price. If nobody wants to spend that type of money, then it won't sell. Scalpers won't be able to charge for that amount. But it's like, what can you do? You know, that's just what it comes to collecting any type of thing. But again, me personally, I'm not about to pay $400, $500, even $300 for a figure such as this. Doesn't come with much, but what he comes with is nice. Don't get me wrong, but $300 and up, that is absurd. But This guy is amazing. The design of him is what you would want for especially an official Broly coming from the anime, you know, like the movie, whatever it may be. The shading's real nice, even though they don't do that anymore. The face sculpts are really nice and clean. The paint, also nice and clean. There's no bubbling. There's no flaking. It doesn't feel like it's going to roll off my hand. The paint is really premium. Even on the skirt piece here where you see the jewels, all that has been nicely applied. Everything's lined up. The feet's all nice, clean. It's real nice balance. Yeah, it's just real nice. Although there, like, again, I'm giving this guy a 9 because there's some room for improvement. There's also some shading on the skirt piece there. We see like the darker lines. They even went so far with the shading, and I want to show this right quick. Even though I have the key ball right there, there's 3 of them. Let me see if you guys can pick that up. They actually put, get this out of the lights. I don't know if you guys can see it in the lighting that's coming in here. Let's see. There is a bit of shading on the key ball. It's right there. I know like my light in here is kind of obstructing a little bit because it's illuminating the the key blast, which is nice for the camera. But yeah, they actually, you can see a little bit better right there. The slight shading on the key blast itself. They don't do that. They don't ever do that anymore. You guys see that? That's freaking nice. So I will give this figure that too. It comes with this really nice 40th anniversary base. Let me get this package here. I got mine open. 40th anniversary base. I don't want to drop out my accessories here. But yes. Overall, again, really nice figure. Sorry I'm all over the place with this final touch up here. But if you guys manage to get this guy, at least the reissue version of this, because it's the exact same figure. Whether you get you spend an arm and a leg getting the original 2014, or you spend, and I looked it up, people are trying to already scalp this guy for about 120, 130. Even if you get him for that price, I still say go for it. You know, if you miss the pre-order window for both waves, go for him. He's a really good figure. I don't advise spending all that money on this guy for the amount of accessories. I mean, you do what you want. If you really want this guy in your collection for like the other variants, like the 2016, you have the 2018 inclusives. But yeah, if you manage to get this guy within your budget, add him to your collection. He's real worth it. Yeah, you got those the monocle fit. You have Kong Studios, which is now Beast Deities. I actually have the Beast Deities Broly. I'll do a review of that honking figure there. That thing's freaking huge. I actually had him for some time. Let me know in the comments if you guys actually want to see that one. I'll gladly do it. But one little thing I want to add on to is size comparison. Look how freaking, I got my Goku figure here. This is just a full power Super Saiyan Goku body with the superhero Goku head on it. I just thought it would look nice. But yeah, look at the size compare. Look how massive this figure is compared to just a regular Dragon Ball figure, such as Goku. So $90, yes, heck yes. You know, even $120, $130 at the most, still yes, because like the size of this figure, it's like 2 of these put together. So it's still like, this is $35. You know, there's like 40. You know, that's like 80 put together. But yeah, so I want to touch on a little size comparison here. I don't normally do that, but I should start doing that more. But that'll pretty much wrap it up for this video, guys. You know, be sure to like the video. That'll help my video greatly. I know it gets annoying asking that, but I have to ask. You know, I'm a newcomer. I want to help get my videos out there so other people can see this. Also, be sure to subscribe so that you're not missing out on my videos when I do release them, because I try to release a video at least once a week. The way my schedule is, I was thinking of trying to do 2 videos a week. You guys let me know if you like that. I'll try to fit that in, but I'm managing 1 video a week. Let me know if that's too slow for you guys. You guys want to see more, and I want to learn your expectations of this channel. But that'll pretty much wrap it up for this video, guys. Until next time, see you then.